First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking each day as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for upNXT. You found us at postwrestling.com, whatever podcast app you're choosing to use right now. And it's Tuesday, 10:05 p.m., which means
we are live on youtube.com/postwrestling. Hello, YouTube room. How are we doing?
Hello, everybody. Hello, all the postmarks, all the NXT friends. We're calling out to you. We have a deadline this weekend, and we're going to catch it. We're going to make this deadline because NXT Deadline this Saturday, and tonight we're going to talk about NXT and the go-home show for everything involving Iron Survivors, boxes. We get another mystery box mystery. We love that. In NXT, we'll talk about.
Oh, I've already forgotten about that, but yes, I have no idea.
Highlighted the show.
Yeah.
WWE. It's the lull of the season. It's December. It's like, what do we do? Playbook, Masked Man. Okay, sick. Yeah. What about NXT? I don't know. A box. All right, sick. We booked our winter season, but we're gonna talk all about.
At least it's not a golden egg, right?
True. It is something that came to mind of like, hey, that could have been something that was in the box. At least they didn't promote it leading up to it. Hey, maybe it's the mask from Saturday in the box, right? Yeah, we'll talk all about it. We are not going to be live this Saturday for Deadline, but we will be live Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. right here on Post Wrestling. So whether or not you are catching the Deadline live on Saturday, we won't be, but we will be here Sunday to talk all about it, and definitely looking forward to the Iron Survivor matches and everything. So getting that out of the way, Sunday, 2 p.m. Deadline show.
Absolutely. And it's a good way for some of you, if you haven't ever listened to our Sunday Poisonrana show, to get a bit of a preview of that, because we'll be obviously running through Deadline first and talking all about that. But then we'll probably go into some of the other news of the week, talk a bit about the Continental Classic that's going on in AEW and things like that. We do shows pretty much every Sunday on Poisonrana. Give us follow youtube.com/@PoisonranaPod, or just go to Poisonrana.ca to find all our links, because we do so many more shows and podcasts outside of Post Wrestling.
Absolutely. We just went live on Sunday, 2 p.m., where we talked all about war games or lack thereof war, and plenty of games, and we talked all about the Continental Classic. We talked about all the other stuff in the world of wrestling, not just NXT. I know that's our job here on Tuesdays, but we love to talk about everything else going on. We just last week got back from Full Gear. We got the Continental Classic. We got some more on Dynamite this week as well. They had their Thanksgiving. We talked all about that, and then of course War Games, John Cena's last PLE match. Not his last match, not his last Raw match, his last PLE match.
I don't know what Saturday night's main event is then.
What is that?
It's not on TV. It's on Peacock. It's
not live.
It's just a live event.
Not an event. It's just a live event. It's not premium, but looking forward to lots of wrestling in the next few weeks. It never ends here. Lots of wrestling every day, maybe, depending on how much wrestling you choose to consume out there. But the big news in the world of wrestling is TNA wrestling will never die. The cockroach of professional wrestling. They used to be the owl. They should use a roach, as they will never die. Nothing can kill this company. And they got a great TV deal with AMC starting in January. TNA wrestling, Thursday night Impact, Thursdays from 9 to 11. Now, I know we're millennials. We don't have cable and all that and this and that, but AMC, it's a channel I recognize.
Yeah, right? AMC, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, all of that. Big channel. Definitely an upgrade for them. I think it's been reported around $30 million in a multi-year rights deal. Big thing. Obviously, they've had the partnership with WWE. this past year or so, and that has obviously helped them and helped their numbers. We've seen at some of their pay-per-views, they've been pulling good crowds, and it has revived some interest for some fans. So yeah, pretty sweet deal. I did see stuff coming out that this it was reported that this ends the WWE partnership. However, Carlos Silva, the president of TNA, has come out and said that that is bullshit, and that is not the case. So still expect to see some crossover between the two brands. And I believe it's gonna be a mix of tape shows and live shows as well on Thursday night. So yeah, like, good for them, I guess.
Like, this is the best case scenario, really. Like this is a show I'd say in the last year they were trying to find themselves. We've had this WWE crossover, and I'm just assuming here that WWE helped them get this deal, right? Like, I would assume, having been in bed with the Fed, if you will, because it rhymes, I have a feeling that was definitely something that, you know, helped them shop around this show and with the interest this year. I think this is great. You know, AMC, I think cable channels in general, like the way people watch stuff, you know, me and you, we don't have cable. We watch by all the other means. And I'm talking legal means as well, but like, there's so many ways to watch your favorite shows. And I think back to when I did watch is that show still on? The Walking Dead? It's still not going, right? There's like multiple.
It's the spin-offs that are going.
There's got to be like 7 spin-offs.
There's like a Daryl and Carol or whatever her name is. Yeah. Is it Daryl and Carol? Yeah, I think they've.
Carl. Get in the house, Carl.
I believe he's dead. I think.
Spoilers, dude. I was gonna one day.
No, you weren't. We both gave up at the same time. We saw a bloke with a giant lion or tiger or something.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we saw Negan killed. It's time to move on from this.
Wow, you're just spoiling everything for everyone. But I don't. Yeah, it's so long ago. That show really did have its grips on the world. But TNA wrestling, don't open, dead inside. We'll see. I want parody commercials of like Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, Mad Men. Like, I want all these things to kind of tease. I can't necessarily think of any big shows that they've put out in the last little while, but they had a big run for a while there.
Absolutely.
Like, Breaking Bad, one of my all-time favorites, hands down. So
Better Call Saul and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, wrestling seems hotter with WWE being so hot lately. Like, wrestling seems like there is a lot more interest, indie shows and your local shows. And like, I think this is a good, you know, I may not be someone who watches TNA on a weekly basis. I did check out some of the stuff this year with the WWE crossover. They definitely hooked me enough with the Hardy Boys stuff to watch some of their shows. But I think this is great for wrestling. It might not be my favorite show, but this could help turn them back around to something positive, you know?
More money going into the company as well, which can hopefully improve some things. And yeah, just ways to get different eyeballs. I think AMC have their own app as well, so that makes it AMC a bit easier for people like you and I who don't necessarily use traditional cable. People might be finding it that way. But what I think is interesting as well is I very much think a lot of this WWE partnership with TNA is to hurt AEW as well and kind of block out different places where they can have potential deals. Now, we were at the press conference where Tony Khan was basically said he's not concerned at all. He's pretty happy with his partnership with WBD, but there are those rumors of that being bought or sold or whatever. And if you think now WWE are across, if you're including TNA with this as well, it's, you know, they've got Netflix, they've got AMC with this, they've got USA, they have CW, they have Tubi as well. They're getting their, like, there's a lot less options if AEW were to move to a different network now.
Right. Like, if those were to be real, like, say, example, Warner Brothers would have to, like, you know, sell or to someone like Paramount or Netflix. Like, yeah, that could maybe cause some problems and some things like that. But I think it's good for wrestling as a whole. This will totally bring more eyes on the company. I think as long as the people, the talent are actually getting paid. You know, we've heard so many horror stories over the last few years with TNA and people and stuff like that. Like, as long as hopefully this deal goes towards making the product right again. And I think this is a great time for them to do like a reset, like a whole like revamp. Like I'm talking, Tommy Dreamer, God bless you, but I think you got to get rid of. I think you got to get like a whole new everything to like create a brand new show. Even changing the name, like they calling it now Thursday Night Impact, not just TNA Impact.
Yeah.
Thursday Night AMC Thursday Night Impact. Like revamp this. And you know what? I haven't watched AMC in a long time, Davey, but I'm thinking back and I'm thinking real hard. Some of the last times I did watch AMC when I guess I was like, 18, 19, still living at home, I guess, or something, when I had cable with my mom, because I don't have that now. But I watched Talking Dead. And you know what? There was a guy who showed up on that show a whole lot. No, not CM Punk. Chris Jericho. He was always on AMC with these Talking Dead shows and all these things. And you know what? I think Chris Jericho would fit in on AMC on Thursday nights in 2026. I think that would be the ultimate perfect pairing for this company and just setting them off in this right direction with this thing. He's run his course in AEW and he can easily retire in WWE, but I don't know. That had me thinking. As soon as AMC, I was like, AMC, okay.
I could see that being something, and I think Jericho seems to be someone who likes a challenge. They tried it with ROH, see if he could get a TV deal with them. Obviously, him kickstarting AEW, being the first person to sign with them, and being a recognizable name to help that brand. I don't think it's out the realms of possibility that we see Jericho in TNA.
Because I remember watching that show. You'd watch, it's a post show. You watch Walking Dead, and then all of a sudden the dude would come out. I swear they did that show for all these other shows. Was it too.
Chris Hardwick? Was that his name?
Was it? Yeah. I remember that was a big thing for a while.
Yeah.
There. But Chris Jericho would just always show up on that show. I'd be like, oh, there he is again. But I feel like that would be something that could really kickstart and I guess stick it to AEW if you're Jericho, if they do separate. I know he has. Was some clip of him saying that like you will see me wrestle in 2026, but not sure quite yet. So I don't know if that's a promise or a threat, but good for TNA. Hopefully this brings it back to maybe the feels it kind of was for some fans, or does it just kind of stay the same way? I feel like they've had over and over and over of different iterations.
Talent's not the issue in TNA. TNA has some incredible talent there. It's and I'd say actually this year, and we are going to be doing our best and worst of the year show with John and Wai. We kind of hashed out the details for that recently, but I think creative across the board has been super poor this year. I really felt a dip in 2025 in all the shows, and obviously TNA getting a lot of criticism for their last big show and the Frankie Kazarian win over Santana and that kind of thing. I really hope for, as I said, talent's not the issue. I had TNA just come on randomly on Sportsnet at the bar once, and it was a Rascals match, and there were people watching it going like, man, these guys are great. This match is super fun and exciting. And they're people that don't watch wrestling, right? And you've got people like Leon Slater there. I mean, we know all the talent in TNA, and they're fantastic. But it's bad creative that is holding a lot of these shows back for me. And, TNA already has that reputation, which is really hard to shake off. So hopefully a brand new network, and hopefully have a bit of a new look, an updated feel. And let's try and get more creative in 2026 in all shows.
Yeah, in all wrestling. That's totally fair. Like there hasn't necessarily been a huge story this year, like storyline wise, angle wise. I guess that's been super captivating. I just think it's another wrestling show. I know like TNA does have its fans. Like we talk about TNA on and off, especially with this NXT crossover in the last months this year. And I noticed that we get comments or people messaging us like, oh, hey, don't knock TNA. Like, I love watching it. And I like totally see that for people like, hey, it's another wrestling show. I would say it's still number 3 or 4 down the list, I guess. If it's WWE 1, AEW 2, don't know if TNA is going to come back for that. I know that the talk, I think it was Jericho saying, oh, TNA looked like the number 2 at that pay-per-view. And it's like, well, I don't know, but I think this is good for wrestling in full. And I guess we'll see where it goes. And who knows, maybe we'll still have crossovers and stuff. Like Leon Slater, TNA X Division champ, he's wrestling on the show tonight on NXT.
Yeah.
Wrestling on the PLE this Saturday. So it's another developmental kind of, farm system for WWE, I guess. If you were TNA, I bring up Chris Jericho because it's just maybe like the more like he's a big name that's kind of floating around. Is there any other names, like whether it's not like, talent that's maybe been released from WWE or AEW or any indies people that aren't necessarily signed? Like they should kind of do a little bit of a shakeup and get some people in, especially for that, like that first show, if they're going live in January.
I mean, I think, WWE's roster is huge and there's definitely people that aren't really being utilized that like watching this show today, we're going like, what is the plan with Tony D'Angelo? Like for someone who's not injured, he's not moved up to the main roster. Is he done with NXT? Like there's certain people where it feels like they just don't know what to do with them.
Well, his hat cut up in a bag, that in a box. I mean, maybe.
Was that his hat?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. But like, I think you could do little excursions. I mean, TNA have always done the short contracts, haven't they? Like someone will be there for 3 months or 6 months or whatever. They haven't really been known to sign long deals. And I think if there are people in WWE that you don't have creative for, like I'm pretty sure Apollo Crews is still signed, isn't he? Like, what's he doing?
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still WWE. There's definitely people that you could go down there to sort of rehab a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like there's a few people floating around. Like not Tegan, not Dakota Kai. I don't know if we've necessarily seen her pop up in AEW, but like every time I watch NXT on Netflix, even tonight, the music, I always talk about the rave music, but it shows clips in one of the like break things, and it's Dijak, Donovan Dijak. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, whatever happened to that guy? And that's someone, right? Like he could be easily.
He's in a tag team with Baron Corbin, isn't he?
On what?
Just indies, maybe MLW. Oh. I think they're called the Twin Towers or something like that.
Excuse me? Yeah. Are those the regional titles? Has Booker T looked into that? Are they regional tag team title? What about
he's with MLW right now. Got you.
Okay. What about Killer Cross? He's someone that like I know he's been in TNA before, right? But like
I could totally see him going back to TNA, and I think you should really load, what is it, January
15th, I think.
Yeah, like you should really load that show. That should be a live show. I think if they're going to do a mix of live and taped, the debut should be live. It should be a big deal. Whether you get any WWE promotion, I don't know. Obviously, it being a different network, possibly not. But yeah, I'd stack that show and definitely have some surprises. Like if you did have a Killer Cross show up or a
AJ
Jericho
Styles
or whoever. Yeah.
Just like have, some people from the Kaz is the champ, right? Right. Yeah. I don't know. I can't say that in 2026, we'll be talking a whole lot more about TNA, but maybe we will. Maybe they'll get the shot they needed to like do this. So good for them with AMC, but very excited. They're the ones who knock. I want all the promos. Do you see that stuff about Mad Men today? They like did a high res upscale of Mad Men for like a streaming service, and someone found out that because of the way the HD is like remastered, that we've seen this with other TV shows. Now you can see like people in the background setting up things and stuff, and it's like, man, that's why it wasn't made for these.
I know, like I often find it's like things look better when they're just grainy.
When they're shit, yeah.
I mean, Mad Men, it's only a few years old. It's not like it was still HD time. I guess it's just upscaling to 4K, whatever now.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just keep seeing this puke machine, and it's like this scene where the guy's supposed to be puking. It's like a whole team of people now in the shot. You can easily see it. It's like, oh. Interesting, but yeah, AMC. Who would have thunk it? So that's the big news in today with TNA and AMC. We will see what happens in 2020. 26 in the world of wrestling. Like I said, we went live on Sunday and we talked all about War Games and the Masked Man and some Continental Classics. So I know we will catch up this Sunday after we talk about Deadline at 2 p.m. here on Post Wrestling. We'll maybe spend a few minutes and talk about whatever else is going on, because we have talked a whole lot about everything else, and there was some exciting wrestling on TV this week as well. So we will talk all about that other stuff. We do tons of other shows, though. If you haven't checked us out, what are you waiting for? Patreon.com/PoisonRana. It's only $5. I got a shout out. We had few new people sign up this week. Appreciate the love in the Poisonrana Patreon. It's only $5. If you're thinking, hey, fellas, I'd love to buy you a pint for Christmas. I'd love to buy you some spiked eggnog for the holidays. Hey, why don't you buy yourself some podcasts to keep yourself entertained with the in-laws and the turkey and whatever else you do over the holidays? $5 gets you.
While you're wrapping presents and all that.
Yeah, we got
Christmas
you covered.
Shopping, your last-minute shopping, we got you. We got so much for you to enjoy.
$5 a whole month's access gets you access to all the shows that we've done: retro wrestling reviews, retro NXT reviews. We do a show called Was Next. We're going to be dropping another one this month. We have so many shows lined up. We just dropped our GoldenEye 30th anniversary review, talking James Bond. The Bond ratings came back. If you're a 90s kid like us, you love the Pierce. You love Slappers Only. You love talking about the N64 video game. We talk all about GoldenEye. That was a really fun show.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of love for this one. We've received some very complimentary messages for this review. And I think people in a similar boat to us, just very nostalgic about both of the film and the video game.
I've been playing it. I got it on the Switch now, and I've just been... It's just facility. It's the best level. I'll just continue killing people in the washroom because it's fun. But that was a big review. We just did a War Games review. Shout out Jesse from the Six, who joined us to talk about his pick, Fall Brawl 1993. Everyone remembers the Shockmaster and the infamous debut, but you might not remember it was for a setup for War Games. So we review this classic, awful show. Dare I say, one of the worst pay-per-views we've ever talked about.
Yeah, we've had a pretty bad run with WCW shows recently. So thank you, Jesse. Was a lot of fun, though. Great. We had Jesse live in the studio. You can also check out the video version on the Patreon. And sometimes the video versions are quite fun because we then throw up little pictures of how ridiculous people like the Shockmaster look.
The Shockmaster. What a terrible show. Oh, and Mick Foley, Cactus Jack and his amnesia storyline. That's what we need in wrestling. Stuff. We need amnesia storylines back in wrestling. Let's talk real creative here. Plus, we have a huge show we've been doing called The Champ Is Here. The last time is now, and the time is now for you to listen to The Champ Is Here. We did a huge one with just you and I talking all about the Rock versus John Cena rivalry, where we go through everything. WrestleMania 28, even before that, the interview digs, the Hall of Fame joke from The Rock. We go through the entire on and off, shoot or no shoot rivalry between The Rock and John Cena for WrestleMania 28 and 29 and beyond. This was a huge podcast, but a ton of fun.
Dare I say it might be the best episode of The Champ Is Here so far.
I think so.
It was super in-depth, really dissecting these promos. As I said, this is like a 4+ year story that builds up to the eventual 13th title win of John Cena at WrestleMania 29.
Yes, I mean, we talk about the wrist promos, right? Mm-hmm. Everything involving rap battles and everything. And then if you haven't checked out our Patreon, we do have the free feed. I decided to put up a free version. I put up episode 11? I'm blanking now.
10.
Episode 10. Yes. I put up the episode where we were joined by our friend from the PWT cast in Chicago, talking about our pal Scrump, as we talk all about John Cena versus CM Punk. We recorded this in June when Cena and Punk were revisiting that feud and everything, but I decided to put it out for free on our free feed. So go check it out if you haven't already and wet your whistle for some of the other episodes that we got coming. I know we're behind. Cena's retiring next week. We still have years to go through, but we're going to do it. We're not going to stop. And we've been going through every title win and reign.
And how timely as well. CM Punk in a little video on tonight's NXT talking all about that rivalry and how he believes it's seen as best. And I'd say I agree with him there.
I would say so too. Like I love the stuff with Edge, and I love I think back to the JBL. We've covered all that stuff, but CM Punk, John Cena, that's definitely the Superman Batman combo.
And we're going to be continuing with a new episode of The Champ is Here next week, where we're going to be joined by Boris, who's been on our show a few times, filling in when one of us are away. We're going to be talking about the 13th reign of John Cena's career. This includes the salmon suit retirement speech of Mark Henry, I believe, a trilogy, unfortunately, against Ryback.
Oh, God.
And but the eventual SummerSlam match with Daniel Bryan, which is very well remembered. So looking forward to this one. Definitely a championship reign of highs and lows. But that is part of our December schedule, and we have finalized it. We've dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and we know what we're going to be serving up for you this holiday season. And we're kicking things off tomorrow with a review of The Flash, kind of continuing our Batman retrospective as Michael Keaton's Batman appears in this film. We'll be joined by Emmy award-winning Rob McDonald, our Batman expert, to talk all about The Flash. I've never seen this film, so I'm pretty excited for this one.
I think I watched it like a year or two ago when it came out on streaming and put it on, and it's silly, it's dumb, it's not good, but it'll make for a pretty fun review. Shout out Rob, longtime listener, supporter, big time friend of the show. He's our Batman aficionado. We've done a whole Batman series reviews of all the movies, and this is the only one. We finally got to the last one, and then that means we're clear until the Batman 2, perhaps, if that movie ever actually comes out. But very excited about this. Are we bringing out the Bat reviews?
We'll have to bring back the Bat ratings.
Bat ratings, sorry.
Exactly.
Yes, the Bat ratings. This schedule, we haven't done a schedule for the Patreon in a while, but we decided it's holidays. We're trying to book things and make sure everything is going to plan. So tomorrow we're reviewing The Flash. That'll be out this week on the Patreon. We'll also be doing another Was Next for you NXT heads out there. We do a show where we've been going back throughout the history of NXT. We're in 2014 right now after the first takeover. So follow along on that podcast series as well. But it's the holidays, and we have a lot of holiday influenced reviews coming out. We're going to party. We're going to have some fun this Christmas. And I want to start a new tradition. I think we were going to put it to a poll of like what Christmas movies. And if you go through the catalog of pods, we've reviewed some great Christmas movies. But I keep seeing ads for terrible Hallmark-esque Christmas movies. You know the ones. They pump these things out like 10 a month, 10 a year, 20 a year. You sent me this one. I didn't believe it existed, but now since you sent it, I keep seeing other people on social media find it. What is this movie that we're reviewing?
Holiday Touchdown, a Bill's love story. On IMDb, it doesn't have the worst rating ever.
Wow.
The movie centers around the Quinns and DeLucas, who live next door to each other and are proud members of the Bills Mafia, rooted in their friendship. Sounds ridiculous. We're going to bring on our very own Bills Mafia member, Golden Graham Crackers, who's going to be joining us for this Buffalo Bills Hallmark holiday movie. It sounds ridiculous. I'm pretty excited about this one.
I keep seeing this online. Like people are thinking this can't be a real movie, but it is. And we're going to review it, and that'll be a review. But if that's not enough, the White Whale, we've done 2 reviews in the past of Christmas movies. We've had our friend John Pollock from Post Wrestling here at postwrestling.com, the godfather of post wrestling, the leader, the El Capo, John Pollock. He joined us many years ago now to talk about his favorite movie, Home Alone. And then somehow we convinced him to review Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Great movies, even better reviews with the 3 of us. Then we asked hey, should we review Home Alone 3? He said, not a chance. And then a year later, he said, you know what? Maybe we could. And then he kept pushing it off.
I think he said last year, he was like, boys, I'm surprised you didn't ask me to do Home Alone 3 this year. And we were like, hey, you always say about how busy you are. You got kids, you got shows you got to review. We didn't want to put you under pressure. So this year we thought, fuck it, John, we're putting you under pressure. We got to do this review. The people need it. I know Jake from the Windy City, who I see in the chat, has been calling for this for years.
That's right.
And we convinced him. I think we chatted a little bit of shit on Poisonrana Live on Sunday, and we made the man cave, and we will be recording Home Alone 3.
Maybe one day we'll get John Away on to review Terrifier.
Yes.
But yes, John Pollock will be joining us for Home Alone 3. That's right. We're going to talk all about what is Max Keebler. It's not Macaulay Culkin. It's not Macaulay
Culkin. It's some kid with a lot of hair. I remember there's some sort of crazy microchip and
French steward in this one,
remote control car, and
yeah,
I think he keeps getting his penis strapped in the lid of the toilet.
Wait, I think that's another Home Alone movie. Wait, I think Scarlett Johansson's in this movie.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
as like a kid, she's young, but she's in it.
Yeah.
I have not watched this movie since I was a little kid, and I remember having this on VHS. Home Alone 3, clearly not as superior as 1 and 2, but will it hold up? And more importantly, will it make for fun conversation? So that is a show we're recording in a few weeks with John Pollock, Home Alone 3. So go watch that this holiday season and let us know. We'll get a feedback thread up. If it sucks, don't blame us.
Hey, I watched Home Alone 4 the other year, and this is
why
this looks like Godfather Part 2 compared to Home Alone 4. So there's definitely some
French
fun.
stewards in that one.
I remember there's some fun traps in this one, so I'm kind of excited for it.
You hear we're gonna have to talk about with John, but Macaulay Culkin in some interviews about his idea for a new Home Alone movie, and everyone's like, yo, make this movie
where he's the dad or something.
Yeah, it sounds great. So we'll have to discuss this with John, because I'm sure he's read about this. But yes, we're gonna talk about Home Alone 3, all the dangly ones. It's gonna be great. Very excited. And if that's not enough, you are all invited. We are cordially inviting you to the Poisonrana Christmas party, December 21st, Sunday. Time to be determined, because we want to make sure some of you Brits out there hang out with us. But I don't know, is 4 p.m. I don't know.
I think we're going to throw up a poll, see what time works best for everyone, because we don't want it to go too late for some of you across the pond. Yeah. We're aware there's football going on and stuff like that. We'd like as many of you as possible. Sundays work best for us. So yeah, we're going to throw up a little poll and let you decide. Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Probably so the options.
Sunday, December 21st, it will be a Poisonrana Christmas party. We've done these in the past. We have tons of our friends and our guests join us on the stream. We go live for many hours. We stream for a couple hours, and we play different podcast party games, and we talk and get holiday stories, and we talk about all sorts of different stuff, not just the wrestling, but with other friends and other podcasts. So hopefully some of you can make it. And if you do choose to make it, I heard we're going to be playing some games and some trivia maybe.
We don't have Big Fat Quiz of the Year this year, but I'm going to kind of incorporate a sort of mini version in our Christmas party. And I'm going to get Frank to put his BDE championship on the line.
I was gonna say Fire Frank. I saw him in Newark last week. He hasn't defended this title in years.
Yeah,
but shouldn't it be like an eliminator? Shouldn't it be the winner of this?
No.
You're just making him defend it.
He hasn't defended it for years. I can't guarantee if there's a number one contender when that match will happen. So
true.
We're having it on the line. We're going to try and do this in a way where all of you can play. So even if you aren't kind of on the video chat, I'm going to try and make this so you can also play along at home, the quiz. And yeah, we'll be mixing this along with our regular kind of Christmas chit chatter, and maybe an old favorite of Party Quirks as well on the the 21st.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun the last few years with this Christmas party. We make it just a big fun stream with people popping in and out. And, some people got work, or you said football, or it's late or whatever, but pop in and say hi if you can, talk for a few minutes, or stay all night. Bring the eggnog, the horchata, whatever it is you want to drink, and or partake. Party favors welcome. We're just going to hang out on the 21st and have some fun. So whether you're not or not, the audio and the video will be up later, but we'd obviously love for you to be there live and incorporate yourself and have some fun. So very excited about that. Tons of stuff. Poisonrana.ca for everything else that we do, including Insta, Twitter, Facebook. Give us a follow, and the free feed as well. There's so many different ways you can interact and check out some of the content we got. Like we said, we got you covered these holidays with all the podcasts and so much more. And we can't do it with all you people out there. So hopefully your holidays went well, going well, will go well, whatever it is.
Yes.
Love you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I think we should get into some NXT, shouldn't we?
Yes, let's hit that deadline.
NXT from December 2nd, 2025. And we are live at the Performance Center. And no Booker T this week.
Was I the only one who was like, oh, man?
Probably. So filling in is Corey Graves stepping in and teaming with Vic Joseph. And we start things off right away with the Women's Iron Survivor Summit. This is the 5 participants in the Iron Survivor: Kendal Gray, Lola Vice, Sol Ruca, Jordan Grace, and Kalani Jordan. Basically all getting to say their piece going into the Iron Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, this match Saturday is stacked with these. Like, this one might be the most interesting one since this match has been created. Like, look at the people in this thing: Sol Ruca, Kendal Gray, Lola Vice. Now I'm blanking on the other who are in this. Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan, right?
Yes.
Like that sounds awesome. And the way this match like works with the 5 of them, this and that, like already like, okay. But then you start the show with them just cutting promos and then interrupting each other here. It was me. I'm already hyped for this match. I felt like they did a disservice to the match by kind of doing this, but I don't know.
So we start with Sol Ruca, who says that last week Ethan Page gave her unsolicited advice. However, he did say something, which was that she is a world champion caliber talent. And she normally doesn't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. But if he sees herself that way, then she should too. She said she's had her highs, her lows. She was double champ with a best friend by her side, but now she's here empty-handed, and her life has been rough recently. But there's a simple path to gain my peace back, and that's by winning at Deadline and becoming the NXT Women's Champion at New Year's Evil. Jordan Grace then pipes up saying, the path is never that simple, and I've been close to it many times, but I lose. And I've run through a brick wall this time to make sure that there's not a woman who will stop her from winning the Iron Survivor and becoming NXT Women's Champion. Lola Vice calls her Loca and says that Cena picked her because no matter how many times she gets screwed, she still believes in herself. And from NXT to AAA, Vice City is everywhere. And if it wasn't for Lainey Reed, she would still be champ. And Kendal Gray says, well, look, I may be the underdog here, but I am actually the only champion here in this lineup. And I thrive on the big moments. This is when Kalani Jordan tells her to shut up and gets the Dominic Mysterio treatment here to loud boos where you can tell like her and the other women are struggling to even hear what she's saying. But she says,
I could barely hear her. Yeah. Like, okay, there's not that many people in the Performance Center when you compare it to like a Monday Night Raw or whatever. But when everyone is doing it, it's kind of hard to hear. Like Howard Ciccalani, she went through and delivered everything pretty much without a hiccup, but it was kind of hard for me to understand what she was saying.
She says, you're swimming with the sharks now. This was to Kendal. You're swimming with the sharks now, and there's blood in the water. Kalani tells Lola that she will never be good enough for the women's title, and there's no match like the Iron Survivor. She says it's unpredictable, it's unique, it's all these things that also describe her. And the only people who have been in this match before is herself and Sol Ruca, and Sol's leg is injured. So at Deadline, I will walk out the Iron Survivor. And she yells at the crowd to show her some respect when Fatal Influence come out. And JC says, now I'm champ again. All order has been restored in NXT. And she can't wait to see who wins at Deadline so she can see who the lucky loser at New Year's Evil will be. She makes fun of Sol with her poor broken heart and bum leg. She calls Kendal Gray the new flavor of the week. And she says, and I could run the match back with Jordan or Lola, but it will just feel like deja vu when you choke again. And then she turns to Kalani and says, I don't like her either, but I'm glad she's finally showing some spine. And you're talking awfully confident for someone who lost their title, referring to the TNA Knockouts Championship, just a week ago. Kalani says that she'd still be champion if it wasn't for that meathead, referring to Jordan Grace. And there's a fight. It all breaks down. All 5 women are brawling as Fatal Influence are laughing on. And we have the security in, pulling them all apart.
Ava basically Teddy Long the last few weeks. Like, this is a tag team match now. And now the same with the women with this match. So it kind of the same story with the men from last week are now in the 8-man tag tonight. And you're going to see the 6-woman tag tonight. But I kind of said earlier, like, I think on paper, this is the match that I think should absolutely cook on Saturday. I didn't love the way they set this up. I like every single woman in this match. And I think right now they're all in this position of they could easily all be big stars in WWE, every single one in this match. And like, I think we're both really high on every single one, all 5 of them. And I felt like I don't necessarily usually think that the promos are bad or good or whatever. Like, I don't think about it too much, but this time around, I didn't necessarily like the story of, shooting off your things at people and then the other one cuts them off. Like, they did it too many times, and I was like, okay, this is getting a little like reality talk show. I
always find this so cliche and a little cringy whenever they do this, and we've seen this for like Money in the Bank matches and just whenever they do these things. I get it's more difficult to have the promos when it's a multi-person match. It's 5 women, but I thought Kalani sounded good. I think she's really holding her own now as a heel. I think she's coming into it more, and the way she dealt with the crowd here, I thought was excellent. Kendal, who's someone quite untested on the mic, I thought sounded good. I actually thought, as cliche as the segment was, I thought everyone actually came across pretty well in it.
I'm wondering, like, we've talked about how the stuff with Sol Ruca kind of coming across as a really big star right now. And the gimmick here is John Cena picked all these people. Like, will that heel turn happen this weekend? Will it be Sol? Will it be Zarya? Will there be, I think something has to happen in this match of some sort of turn. And we'll kind of get to a little bit later when we do get to this match. But yeah,
I think Zarya murders her in the penalty box.
Yeah, I think that's what's got to happen. Like, she's got to interfere in this match and does connect with that spear that we'll definitely talk about a bit later. But yeah, like I said, this match should be the one to watch, but I don't know what else you do to they needed to cut promos to hype up the match, but it's weird when it's a summit. Like you said, Money in the Bank is the same thing. It's always these dorks on ladders. Like, I'm going to grab it. No, it's like, we get it. It's going to be good. It's just like, yeah, let's get to it.
I mean, you don't have the time for all 5, but I really like what they've been doing recently, and especially with like Lola Vice's last title shot, where they did the video package, just showing her and her family and where she's from and her training. And I think that would be more effective for me. Like, I'd love to see one of them on Kendal Gray, who we still don't know a whole lot about, but you've got to get them in front of the crowd as well. You can't really this is, I guess this is the only thing you can really do, but I do find it quite cheesy whenever they do it this way.
Yeah, no, fair.
We go backstage to Thea Hale and Joe Hendry, and Thea is excited that John Cena picked Joe to be in the Iron Survivor, and couldn't believe that Cena also did the spin, the Joe Hendry spin. And Joe says that this year has been full of highs, but John Cena picking me has to be one of the highest. And that's when Stax and Arianna Grace walk in laughing. And Thea asks, is something funny? And they're like still whispering and giggling. And you hear Arianna go, stop, they're right there. So clearly making fun of Joe and Thea. And Arianna says Thea let her down, as Chelsea should have picked a real power couple like Stax and Arianna Grace to face them for the AAA Mixed Tag Team titles. And Thea says, if Joe Hendry believes in me, then I believe I can kick your ass tonight. So this sets up a singles match between Thea Hale and Arianna Grace, who hasn't had a match on NXT for a long, long time.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, we've seen her on TV, but I can't necessarily.
She's been doing stuff on TNA, and she's been doing more of like almost like commissioner role, hasn't she?
Like, Stax has also just been kind of floating around since they put them together. Like, they're the real life couple, real life pairing, and I think they work good together. It's just I'm just still confused at why Thea Hale just all of a sudden has Joe Hendry's gimmick.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to transfer. It's giving me flashbacks to the Big Show doing Yes Chants.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, why does Thea Hale need to do this now? She's wearing the blue like top to match. She's like full. Okay, you did it 1 week. Okay. But now it's like, no, it's just your character. So I'm a little like, what's happening with that one? And she's so excited. Wow, John Cena picked you. He didn't pick you though. But
yes. Yeah. We then see Ava, who tells security to make sure that Kalani and Jordan Grace stay far away from each other tonight. And that is where she sets up the 6-woman tag with Sol, Kendal, and Lola taking on Fatal Influence later in the night. We then see a tweet from Steve Macklin, who
our favorite,
who says, Does anyone have a gun?
Someone's not going to understand. Hopefully does he use that catchphrase in other things?
I assume so.
We shouted, we love our boys at Northern Crown Wrestling in Toronto. And a few weeks ago they had their show and Steve Macklin wrestled on it. And he's a ton of fun to watch. Like he really, I know he was a forgotten son, but he's grown on me. But for whatever reason, we've said this, but I'm repeating it just in case someone doesn't understand us saying, does anyone have a gun? Because we are not asking you if does anyone have a gun.
He said, is it the crosshairs or something? It's the spear to the tree of woe that he does. It's like he yells before hitting it, but it's.
So he asks, does anyone have a gun? And he did this like 3 times in a match. And me and you just looked at each other like, we're so confused. This is the worst catchphrase in the history of wrestling. Like, does anyone have that's worse than I'm awesome. Like, that's got to be up there. But I was so excited when it showed up here. It didn't quite say, does anyone have a gun? But Steve Macklin apparently put out a tweet calling out Stax.
Yeah, he says he's going to make him a forgotten son and they'll be facing each other at Final Resolution. So I imagine that's for his international championship that he's holding right now.
Right. Because Stax is part of this like NXT invasion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love that he's like, oh, your name is Stax? Well, that's cute because I'm going to be stacking bodies after I beat you. He didn't ask him if he had a gun, but still.
We go to our next match. Thea Hale taking on Arianna Grace. And Stax keeps on trying to get involved and interfere. There's a twisting neck breaker from Grace. And afterwards, she blows a kiss to Stax. She then goes for another twisting neck breaker, but this gets countered to a backslide. She then delivers a couple of punches to the face, and then Thea sends Arianna to the outside. We get an exploder suplex from Thea, and then Stax distracts as Thea goes for a pin, and this allows Hendry to take out Stax with a standing ovation. We get a roll-up from Arianna for a 2 count, and then Thea locks in the Kimura lock for the win, tapping Arianna Grace out.
Yeah, I kind of said, like, the gimmick is she's just acting like Joe Hendry. Now, I assume she won't just continue doing this for the rest of her character on NXT, but it's just kind of weird that she's doing the turn. She's just posing. I didn't think too much of this match. There was not a whole lot. Maybe one of my least favorite matches on NXT in recent memory, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of rubbish, to be honest. It's a shame. I really like Arianna Grace. I think she's a natural when it comes to the comedy and the the stuff backstage, but we've only ever really seen her in matches like this. I don't feel we've ever really seen her properly tested, playing too much of the comedy in the wrestling, and I didn't think she looked good here at all. And I thought it made Thea look weaker than usual as well. I thought this was a whole lot of nothing. And like, I'm all for having comedic characters, but when it comes to the actual match, especially in NXT, when it's about developing those skills, I want to see him wrestle, and we didn't get any of it here.
Yeah, no, I didn't think I had like necessarily high expectations, but I was pretty disappointed with this match. I thought it was pretty bad. Like after it ended, I thought, what was the last time there was a match on NXT that I thought was pretty bad? That's just my honest. I was like, and I couldn't think of it. So
it's up there for worst of the year, I think, in NXT for sure.
It's not right to judge NXT matches all the time for like worst matches, because it's NXT, it's developmental, but this one came to mind because I was like, what happened in this? Not a whole lot. Not a good
Arianna Grace has been there long enough though now, right? Like she started in WWE in 2022. She started wrestling in 2018. Like and I don't know if it's just because she's a comedy jobber here or not, but I didn't think this was very good.
Did you hear the story about Stax and Arianna Grace? How they got recently... he recently asked her to marry her, so they got engaged. But I saw Newsweek put out this article, and I saw Stax and Arianna on social media were talking about this. I think it was shout out the Wrestling Classic, who does some podcasts and stuff like that. Another Canadian, got to support, but he had them on, and this is an insane story. And I'll just paraphrase, but would recommend, if anyone's not heard it, just search WWE Stax, I guess, in news or whatever, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But Stax tried to do this like sweet engagement thing where he was like trying to, make it all lovely, I think in Paris, when he was going to pop the question. But he was trying to make it so secretive. And it turned out that like the people that he was paying to help him do it then like blindfolded them, and he thought that they were getting kidnapped in France. And it's this whole, it sounds like a movie or something. It's pretty scary. It sounds like he was pretty scared, and he put out a tweet being like, for a second I thought Tony D'Angelo was coming back to get revenge on me in Europe. But quite everything worked out. No one got hurt, no one got robbed, and she said yes. But I'd be pretty scared if someone just ran up and put me and my missus in blindfolds and shit. Yeah. But it looks like it worked out for Stax.
It's that American Nightmare documentary.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's whatever. And someone just, because it sounds like he was trying, not to let her know that there's people supposed to, I don't know, but it's hella interesting. It's hilarious. But anyways.
We go to the NXT parking lot where OTM are walking, and Chase U almost hit them in their car as they're just arguing. This is Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors. OTM calls them idiots. Andre Chase tries to calm them down, and they say, next time we see them, it's on site. And Chase asks Chase U, what are you doing? Are you stupid? What's going on? And why are you not wearing your shoes? As we see one of them holding their Jordan. It looked like my one, white and pink Jordans. Look nice out the window. And Andre Chase just says, they said next time it's on site. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound very good.
It means on site. When they see you next time, you're dead.
You're dead.
On site. There's a whole lot to unpack here for me. So the guys are walking through the parking lot, which we know is dangerous. Now, we also know that university students who are driving electric cars in Florida parking lots are also very dangerous. And that adds to the danger of the NXT parking lot. You just have these guys not wearing shoes, driving Teslas around. You know what would have made this segment even better is if OTM started flipping them off for driving a Tesla. And then Chase U get out of the car and chase OTM and get mad at them for flipping them off for driving a Tesla. That would be really funny. You don't
That's
catch
gone over my head, but
it's okay. We talked briefly on Sunday about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch on that podcast. Did you hear him talk about his Tesla?
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
Sometimes, you don't need to tell people everything. I didn't need to know that Seth Rollins chased a guy in his Tesla because someone flipped him off. Maybe you shouldn't drive a Tesla if you have road rage like that.
Other electric cars exist as well.
Anyway, so we had the Tesla here with Chase U, but Andre Chase seemed pretty mad at them. I guess he was happy they were using an electric car, but yeah.
It's we had that whole thing where Kale and Uriah were getting upset because Andre Chase kept yelling at them, and that seems to have gone out the window because Chase is still just yelling at them.
I forgot about them completely.
Chase U has very much ran its course. I like all three of these guys, but I do find this is very tired at this point, this iteration of Chase U.
Hey, remember when Ridge Holland destroyed Chase U?
Yeah.
Remember how that worked out?
Yeah. Rip the MVP, Duke Hudson. And now Thea's just Joe Hendry.
I did see a Duke Hudson figure the other day in the wild.
Nice. Nice. We go to a video promoting the John Cena, this podcast he's doing that's going to be released after, I think they said, right after Raw next week. And this time it was John Cena talking about time and how time moves weird when you're on the road and in WWE. And he says, like, there's sometimes that a decade would feel like a minute. And he goes, if I was asked what I did in 2006, I'd have no idea, and I'd need reminding. But
he would need to listen to The Champ Is Here, because recently we've been through his entire 2006. We could tell him all about what happened. You know, I thought that clip was actually really interesting. I am looking forward to listening or watching this interview. They've played so many clips the past few weeks, but this one, it kind of got me in the feels. Like, man, yeah, you have been grinding. Like, you were the guy. You were on every house show, every weekend, pay-per-view, main event, Raw. Like, no wonder. And the little thing of like, yeah, I can't remember anything from 2006, but then some fan will be like, hey, remember when you fought so-and-so at...
He probably fought Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
guessing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. And I did this. And it's like crazy how your brain can work. But yeah, he's retiring next week. We're going to miss him. Does he have to retire? Or does he put on a salmon suit and he's got one more in him? But yeah, we're going to miss this guy.
We see Javon Evans with Myles, Borne, Leon Slater, and who am I forgetting here? The other guy in the main event tonight. Who was it?
Who was in the main event? What are you talking about?
Backstage, we had Javon, Leon Slater, Myles, Borne, and Joe Hendry backstage.
Sorry, yes.
And they're talking about goofy-ass downstate when Robert Stone walks in with a box addressed to Ava. And we can see that he's already opened the box. And Ava says, we'll deal with it later. But I have to announce that tonight, whoever gets the pin in the 8-man tag main event will get to pick their slot in the Iron Survivor Challenge. She says, if DarkState wins, Dion Lennox automatically gets to pick his spot, but whoever takes the pin out of you lot get to pick who has the advantage. And then they will leave, and she opens the box, and what the hell was this? It's just something black all broken up. Like, what is this?
Okay, so Ava gets the box from Robert Stone, but the box is already open, and she's like, oh, do you always open my mail? And he gives her a little like suspicious look. Now, I don't know, again, if this is involving the NXT TNA invasion angle that they're doing in TNA right now, but I don't think so. But all the other wrestlers, I think it's Javon and it's Leon who are leaving, and they're like really nosy. They're like, oh, what's in this box? What's in the box? What's in the box? So she dumps it on the table, and to me, it looks like cut up fabric.
Yeah, I'm like, it almost looks like, you know, Batman's mask that's been broken or something. Like,
yeah, that's what I said earlier. I'm like, okay, I was joking. I'm like, well, we had the masked man at War Games. Now, I'm not thinking Robert Stone just delivered the cut up mask from War Games of who it was. I don't think that's the case. It did come to mind, like, is it a hat? Is it Tony D'Angelo's hat? why would that be a thing?
It's really not clear. Like this photo, it's so dark. Like I can't.
I've watched it like 3 times during the commercials as well earlier because I was
it's definitely
what?
fabric.
There's so many. This is so stupid, but like, is this going to lead to something? Is this Tony D'Angelo coming back? Is that is it a curse? It wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow's head in the box, but like, I don't know. What is this?
I have no idea.
It's just just ripped up shit. I don't
like.
It's not rose petals, right? Like,
no. Like I was imagining, is it something Blake Monroe?
Right.
Yeah, it's just stuff. Yeah, it's fabric, isn't it? It's just
true. Blake Monroe's been doing the whole like, evil lady, the lady
Dual
from
identity,
hell. Yeah. So maybe it's like something. She wasn't on the show at all, really. So maybe that was sort of a reference.
Is it Ava's like what were they called? The Tree of Life? No, what were they called? The dyad, the Joe Gacy,
the woke lads.
When she wrestled like once, like way back when.
Culling?
No, but like, is it something from her past? Is that what it is?
Just black fabric. So that's what makes me think. Yeah, is it Tony D'Angelo? Like, is it his hat or something? But I think it's probably something to do with Blake. But I don't know. This is pretty. Just them reacting like, oh, what is this?
Schism. That was the name, wasn't it?
Schism.
Yeah.
Wow. Schism. Could this lead to a new wrestler? Could this lead? Is it Shiloh Hill? Maybe it's something he bought on the dark web. Right? Like that makes sense.
Yeah. I now see that people have been like lightening the picture to try and get a better look.
Okay. It's black fabric. I mean, it looks like it's from someone's hat or costume or like someone's ripped up hat.
I don't know. So as far as mysteries go, this is a strange one.
Like, okay, is there any other wrestlers that like haven't been in TNA, AEW? Like, is there talks of some wrestlers coming in? Is this a stupid way to bring someone in? Like the righteous guys, like they do weird shit. I just think it's the black market guy. He says he buys stuff online.
Yeah. Shiloh.
At us or in the chat, who or what is this box?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that we're just not sure about. Maybe it's Danhausen.
Danhausen? Oh fuck, is he coming? Jeez.
I don't know. We got some great stuff with this box, and we're gonna let this continue. So
we go to our next match. Tavion Heights taking on Josh Briggs, and they don't wait for the bell. They're brawling right away around the outside of the ring. Tavion gets thrown into the ring steps. They then get back into the ring, and the bell rings. We get a spine buster and ground and pound from Heights, and then a huge chokeslam from Briggs. Heights hits this like capture belly-to-belly suplex immediately into a pin, which I thought looked pretty nice. Tavion then tries to get back into the ring and gets booted in the head by Briggs. And then they're fighting on the outside again when Tavion picks up Briggs and drives him crashing through the barricade. And they don't fix this barricade for the rest of the show. And in fact, we just have like warning tape is put across this barricade for the rest of the show, which was a nice little touch. They get back into the ring where Briggs hits this kind of hammerlock, like flatliner. Then a sidewalk slam and a splash from Briggs for a 2. Hyde starts firing back. There's a awkward-looking sling blade, and then both run into each other. And Briggs rips the chain off from around his neck, goes to use it, but the official sees it. And then Heights stops him with a right hand to the face. The ref takes the chain away, and as his back is turned, there's a belly-to-belly suplex from Heights and goes for the pin, but the ref is delayed to the count, allowing Briggs to get his foot on the ropes, and then Briggs comes back, hitting a clothesline from hell to pick up the win.
Lariotto, yes. Not quite a Stan Hansen, but it was a pretty good lariat. I found the finish weird. Why did the ref not need to be there if the foot was going to be on the rope anyways?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense, but
well, I guess he came back to consciousness enough to put his
foot
on the ropes. Yeah, it was a clunky ending, I thought, with the whole chain and distraction.
I don't know. I'm not loving Tavion Heights in this since this whole like push of him breaking away from the no quarter catch crew. I just feel like every time it's kind of boring. It's not anything exciting whatsoever. And then on the other side of the coin, you have Josh Briggs, who they've been trying. And like, I think we're both kind of high on Briggs. We love his wrestling, and just everything they've tried with him doesn't seem necessarily to work. I don't know. I know he got the win here, and usually he's the one who's jobbing out. So at least that's a step up. But both of these guys are not in the John Cena selected Iron Survivor. And I feel like Briggs is someone that they mentioned in this match. Corey Graves is like, hey, Briggs has been in the same position for a while. He had a buddy come in from Japan. They teamed. They didn't get the job done, and then they fought, and then that guy went back to Japan and instantly won a world title. And Briggs is still just fighting Tavion.
I mean,
Heights.
Vic made that comment last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, why would you listen to Briggs? He's been here for 5 years.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think this singles run has really exposed Tavion Heights. I don't think he's an exciting performer. It worked in the tag team, but I think on his own, he can throw a nice suplex sometimes, but that's about it. If I kind of actually think Damon Kemp back in the day, who Heights ended up replacing, I think he showed more in singles than Tavion has. And yeah, I just don't see him as a singles guy at all. I don't see people really caring about the Olympic gimmick at all. We saw when they tried to push it, how people really went against it in that feud with Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. And then Briggs, who I like, but they've gone so 50-50 with his booking. Like where no one really cares anymore. He's not seen as a big threat. It really, I feel they should have put the rocket on him as soon as they turned him heel. And he should have just been steamrolling people. And you give him a go at the top of the card and have a go at facing for the NXT championship. And at this point, it's really make and break with him. Do you see something in him where you're going to push him? Or is this his ceiling, just NXT? And I see both guys actually, unfortunately, being ones who might be considered to be on the chop next time we have a round of cuts, because I don't really see where either guy is going at this point.
Like, yeah, Briggs is someone, it's been such highs and lows where we're like, okay, actually, yeah, he's pretty good. And then we think they're good doing something with him, and then they don't, and then they try to reheat it again. It's been a stop-start for what feels like a few years now here in NXT.
And they had such a great thing with him and Jensen, and he's disappeared. He's doing the TNA stuff and was on Evolve, but like a part of me is almost like, just put them back together.
Yeah. Why did you break them up in the first place? Because we love them so much. I hope we get Brooks Jensen on TV again. But yeah, I don't know where to do with this. I felt like I liked Briggs, and he could have been someone you put in that main event position. Like, I'll go back to Ridge Holland. Like, they just did everything with that guy when they were trying to push him. They gave him tag titles. They did this. Like, you could be doing that with this, but
I think the main event scene really for the last year or so has just been Trick, Oba, Ricky, Javon, like different combinations of that. And I think Briggs would have been someone fresh, but at this point, it's hard to win people over again. It's it's almost like the Dolph Ziggler. There's only so many start-stop pushes we can see. We can see the talent, but you end up just stop caring. Like, I thought this match was pretty dull.
No, I really didn't like this either. Yeah, the wrestling on this show up to this point was really not there. It was not hitting for me. You mentioned that Vic Joseph was hard on him last week, so maybe they're leaning into this because he is going off with Corey about Tavion and the Olympic background and wrestling and all that, and then mentions, well, another Olympic, gold medal winner, actually, Kurt Angle, who wrestled John Cena in his debut, and John Cena didn't pick these guys and then moved on back to calling the match. I was like, whoa, he's taking digs at these guys. Like, yeah, John Cena thought these guys suck. And then I watched them wrestle right now. And I was like, maybe John Cena knows ball. Maybe just a little bit, because this was not good.
No.
I don't know. He still has the smoking skull. Like, I want to like Josh Briggs, but If your entrance looks like it came from Dollar Tree or Poundland, I don't know. So that say about the rest of your act.
We go forward to the culling, who come out with Izzy Dame explaining her actions. Why, Izzy? Why? And she says she gets it. This crowd, they all like Tatum, and none of them know what it's like to be alone. And she gave Tatum everything. But how many chances do you give someone before you don't save them anymore? And all I've heard is, how could you betray Tatum? She goes, I didn't betray Tatum. I corrected a mistake. The mistake I made when I thought she could stand next to me as an equal. She ignored the very person who dug her out of the hellhole she came from. When all of you were ignoring Tatum, I carved purpose into her and gave her a voice. And what did she do? She continued to trip over the same insecurities that I whipped out of her. She's selfish and she's stubborn. And it's like everything me and the culling gave to her wasn't good enough. She only became a champion when I took her under my wing. And do you think she could have done that on her own? She couldn't stand on her own 2 feet, let alone carry the women's division. And she only became champion because I wanted her to. And I took everything from her because that's what she deserved. You do not get the choice to ignore me. And at Deadline, it's me and Tatum one-on-one. And I plan on finishing what I started in New York. Tatum, I have one final lesson for you. And in San Antonio, I end the version of you that refused to evolve. Before we move on to the Tatum bit, I thought Izzy sounded great here. I think this is the best promo I've heard her cut.
I think it's the best she's sounded. I still don't like the culty thing of the culling, and it's like heel logic here of being like, I'm the one who made you and this and that, and then you became the champion, but it was basically that I did this for you and everything, and then you just have Shawn Spears and Nico just behind, and I thought that she's sounding better and more believable and feeling more comfortable, I'm sure, with all these TV time and promos and stuff. But I think it's just the actual content of this, the outcast. She's like, oh, you guys only like Tatum because you don't know how to be alone, and she's a loner like you. It's like, it's pretty not the most creative with the whole cult people, but I didn't
get that this was very culty. I
just don't like
to move past that.
I don't like the act of these three. I think this would work better at this point without them. I think it's improved since Izzy's kind of taken over the lead. Nico and Shawn really weren't doing much here at all, just in the background. But I don't know. I thought Izzy really leveled up tonight. I could see her on the main roster. I think she sounded pretty confident in her dialogue, and she's got that presence. She's got the height, and I don't know. I'm starting to see more in Izzy, and I thought she sounded good here. I also love whenever I don't know if it's a wrestling thing. I was gonna say, is this a white person thing? Newsflash, buddy. That's such something. Newsflash, and I hate whenever people say that in conversation. Or Earth 2, Newsflash. I got a chuckle out of that, but I don't know. I didn't. Don't get me wrong. I didn't hate this, and we need to go to this match. Yeah. I just think that the project was the culling helped get over Izzy and it helped get over Tatum, and I guess that's the plus. But I'm looking forward to the match. That's for sure.
We then see Tatum on the screen, who has mascara rolling down her face from crying. And she sat in the room, in the Culling's room where they normally do the little videos. And she says, here I am on our family spot, but alone. Why did you take what was steady in my life and tear it apart? We were great together and you took it away. Izzy says she gave her the world and she rejected it. You're pathetic and predictable. Why don't you come out and do something about it? And Tatum says she's scared what she'll become without her hand on her shoulder. And I'm scared because at Deadline, I'm going to make you feel all of my pain. I thought this should have been Tatum putting out the challenge for Deadline. It felt a little backwards, the heel issuing the challenge. I think here it should have been like they had the right idea. It was Tatum kind of broken to start with, and then going like, I'm channeling all of this into hurt you and give you unimaginable pain. But it should have been then when Tatum's like, and I'm going to see you at Deadline, rather than Izzy issuing the challenge. But
yeah, again, I think we got to get to that direction. That's been the direction for this whole feud and everything. But it does seem backwards with her saying, Izzy saying this match is on, whereas Tatum maybe should have been more upset, or maybe Tatum, we shouldn't have seen Tatum at all. Maybe she should have had some sort of like, cryptic thing saying Deadline, essentially, like keeping her off until then, or attacking Izzy. I don't know. I didn't necessarily hate this by any means, and I think we need to get to that match, and hopefully it's good. So
yeah, we then go backstage to the women's locker room where Sol Ruca apologizes to Zarya for not being there for her match last week. And Zarya's like, oh, well, you seem to be moving on quite fine. You're in the Iron Survivor. And Zarya tells her that she's not going to be out there at ringside for her match tonight because she's like repaying the favor. And
doesn't that sound so? You weren't there for my match last week. That was for the title. Oh, yeah, I'm really sorry about that. Well, I was busy and stuff. Well, I'm not going to be out there for your match tonight.
Your 6-woman tag match. I won't be there.
And then Ren is like, it's fine. I'll be there.
Yeah, I quite like Ren here. He's like, it's cool. I'll be there for you. And then Sol apologizes to Zarya, but all does not seem well. And that takes us to our next match. It's Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, and Kendal Gray taking on Fatal Influence. It all breaks down with them brawling to start with, and Kendal hits a high cross to the floor. JC then takes out both Lola and Kendal with a somersault senton to the floor, and then Sol climbs up to the top and delivers this huge moonsault, taking everyone out. Looked very nice. Sol then in the ring delivers a kick to the face, followed by a standing moonsault to Laney for a 2 count. And then Kendal Gray comes in and delivers this like fireman's carry, and then a drop kick to Fallon for a 2 count. And then we've seen her do this a bunch, the overhead belly to belly throw for a 2. And then
great.
Laney comes into the ring. She sort of traps Kendall's head between her feet and stamps it to the mat, followed by a senton. JC then comes in and hits a big kick to the face of Kendal. Then Lola makes the tag. She's lighting everyone up with her crazy fast kicks, quick kicks to JC. And then Lola tells everyone that she's a Latina.
Mama.
Running, hitting her hip attacks to both JC and Laney.
Oh my God. Okay. Like all night I kept thinking of like, oh, Corey Graves is here instead of Booker T. And he's like, oh, hopefully I don't, say anything that Booker T wouldn't say. And then Lola Vice shaking her ass for the attack. Corey Graves goes, oh, is this where I'm supposed to say something about Cholula Green? And then he's like, yeah, I should, but I also don't like sleeping on the couch.
Yes.
I thought that was so funny.
Sol then makes the tag and hits a shoulder breaker on Fallon. Laney and JC hit double knees to the face of Lola for a 2 count. And then Kendal hits this wheelbarrow flatliner on Laney, which looked fantastic.
Like, think Rey Mysterio used to do the wheelbarrow into the Bulldog, but this is Kendal Gray doing the wheelbarrow into the gray area. What did you call it? The gray something? Yeah, this looked awesome.
This looked really good. And then Sol comes in with an X Factor to Fallon, and then the Soul Snatcher to JC for the win.
Corey Graves, when Lola does finally hit one of those ass attacks again, Corey does his best. Oh, yeah, man. And starts popping. Vic was dying. Like, Vic is like, man, I wonder if this is easier or harder for Vic. Because most of the time he's like talking to a wall, essentially, when Booker's there. So Vic, just the issue is Vic and Corey are maybe too similar.
Yeah.
But like, I think they're both great broadcasters, but they're kind of the same kind of straight man, who got some jabs in and out. But this was a fun match. Like I said, all the talent in this Iron Survivor on Saturday is going to be great. You insert JC Jane, and I think someone in the chat is saying JC and Fallon should be called up, and I do really think that. I think JC and Fallon specifically, Lainey, you know, she was added into the group a bit later. I do feel like they've done everything. I know Fallon, and we haven't done the JC and Fallon thing, but I'm kind of like, we started the show with this summit of these 5 women in this match that are like, I guess, the future of the next year of NXT, right? Whereas then when JC and Fallon came out, it's kind of like, oh, this is like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are still here, sort of thing.
Yeah, to start with, I thought this was match of the night. I thought this was easily the most enjoyable match. Like, Sol Ruca is always just incredible to watch, but Kendal Gray, man, I'm loving every week she's having a match at the moment, and she impresses me more and more every single week. I really see her being like the future. Like, I can totally see her being women's champion on the main roster, like feuding with your Roxanne Perez's down the line. But no, I completely agree. I think, like, my prediction, I know we'll do predictions at the end, but I predict Jordynne Grace to win the Iron Survivor and beat JC at New Year's Evil. And then I'd call Fallon and JC up. You can leave Lainey behind, but call those 2 up. Yeah. I found it interesting on Raw yesterday that they really seemed to make a big effort of pushing the women's tag division. Like, that seemed to be the big focus of Raw last night, was really establishing all these teams in the women's division for the tag. And I think you should bring up Fallon and JC to be a part of that, because they've done everything there is to do in NXT. Sure, we could have a Fallon title reign. I don't think she needs it. She's been North American champion. She's the speed champion for what it's worth at the moment. I'd call both these up after New Year's Evil.
Yeah, no, I would do the same thing. Like, I think that's the right call. I thought there was some fun stuff in this match, and again, kind of wetting your whistle to what's to come with all of them on Saturday, which I think should be a show stealer for sure. I love that Kendal Gray wheelbarrow move. That needs to be the way she finishes. Like, that's awesome. But then
I would love to see it if similar to Sol Ruca, like the different ways she can hit the Soul Snatcher. Like, if we can have these different transitions into the gray area. I
mean, there's so many, right? It's kind of like it's the complete shot, it's the downward spiral, it's what's the Baron Corbin one?
Right? End of days,
right? Like, there's so many different variations you can do. But then after the match, there's some shocking actions.
So after the match, Zarya takes out Kendal Gray on the floor with a spear, and Sol shoves her like, what do you think you're doing? And Lola Vice gets in between them. So Zarya very unhappy here.
Watch this back. It's Lola Vice who pulls Sol Ruca out of the way.
Oh, I missed that.
Zarya went to spear Sol.
Ah.
Yes. So I think we're getting one step closer to that spear this Saturday, probably connecting, costing Sol the match. I think would be the best bet here. But I guess Kendal would maybe want some revenge on Zarya too. But anyways.
Yeah, I can see, Elimination Chamber where Jade just beat the shit out of Naomi, like, in the pod.
Yeah.
I think we will have that with the penalty box, with Sol just, like, trapped in there and beaten to hell.
Yeah, I think so.
So we then go to NXT Anonymous, who catches a little interaction between Javon Evans and Ricky Saints. Javon says he's going to win the Iron Survivor this year and tells Ricky, I don't want you to be weird with me when I win, and I'll be your opponent. And Javon says, at least I don't have to worry about Oba in the Iron Survivor, as he's going to be busy whipping Ricky's ass. And Javon says, Ricky, you always say that I have time, that I'm young and I have time. And Ricky's like, well, yeah, where is the lie? And Ricky says, I think your favorite to win the Iron Survivor, and then at New Year's Evil, we'll face each other. And then Javon says, yeah, well, Ricky, one day you'll wrestle at Madison Square Garden. You have time.
Yes. I think this was done purposely to do what we've been calling for, the heel turn of Ricky Saints.
I think so.
Like, he won the title. Didn't seem there was a whole big, like, I didn't hear much buzz about Ricky Saints winning this title. and the match itself. And I think turning him heel will instantly reignite the fire that we know this guy has, and the let alone the character, the promos. But yeah, I think there's a one line here where Javon was like, "Hey, I'm still kind of mad at you that you walked over me when you went to go something with Oba," and Ricky was like, "Oh, my bad. I just had to I just had to ignore you, essentially." And I do think the little odd looks here from Ricky towards the end. I think the heel turn is imminent, and I think it's happening this weekend. I don't know. Now, I know you said you think Omos is going to get involved. That could still happen with this crazy idea of yours, but I just think regardless, a heel Ricky Saints has happened.
I think also something has to happen because
like
Oba has been so protected. He's had the loss against Tony D'Angelo and the loss against Ricky Saints. Is that it? I think that might be it.
Right.
In NXT. They're not going to just have him clean lose twice to Ricky Saints.
Well, they had him clean lose once, and that was pretty.
That's what I mean. Like doing it twice is a lot.
It was a tornado DDT, dude.
So it was three of them, one on the floor as well. But yeah, I do think there's a heel turn coming.
Yeah.
And or at least some interference, and we can have Ricky sort of play that gray area of did he know it was going to happen, that kind of thing for a little bit.
At least this is somewhat of some seeds of planting. This is actually handling with care the main men's world title scene. Because for the last year, it just seems, Oba versus whatever. And this is at least kind of foreshadowing maybe something we go to down the line. But yeah, I think we're both on the same page. Ricky is going to be a bad guy this week.
And Ricky's a fantastic heel. He's
way
more interesting as a heel.
I'll instantly probably love him as champion if he turns heel. I think in wrestling, babyface champions, they lose their shine real quick. And I didn't even think we necessarily even got the shine with him with those 3 tornado DDTs the first time. It was like, oh, okay, cool. Whereas this time around, it'd be way more interesting if he cheats and he's just a cheeky bastard or something. But yeah.
We then see DarkState, and Dion says, look, I've got to be all in on the singles, but I wanted to be all in on the tag division. I can't do both. So I'm going to give one of you the tag title. And Cutler says, Saquon, you take it. You deserve it. You take it, man. So Saquon Sugars becomes the NXT Tag Team Champion and has put up this very funny graphic as well.
He's like, oh, it's such a hard-fought victory.
And new NXT Tag Team Champion Saquon Sugars.
So wait, does it work this way? Did the Freebirds not fight for wait, isn't this so Dion and Osiris were technically the champions and they were the only two to ever defend?
Yeah, they were the only two who defended. They haven't done the Freebird rule with it, but we have seen when someone's got injured that someone else can take their thing. They've kind of established that in WWE. So
I have no issue with that because, again, Freebird rule is great with factions and tag teams and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's kind of dumb to do this segment. I think you could have not done it and just said, hey, since we're tag champions and we're a team, we are all champions, and therefore we're all recognized as champions. I think it was kind of lame duck to be like, hey, I actually don't give a fuck about this title because I could win the other title and you're not winning on Saturday. So it's just kind of, I thought this was not needed the way they did it, but it was just it was almost when AEW and Tony Khan booked something on TV in a small little segment to over explain something that maybe most people didn't even really need the explaining.
I mean, I think it's been the two of them for the whole time. Defending this, so I didn't mind the explanation. I actually kind of like that they explained it here. They could have if they had just established from the beginning that it was Freebird, but I think we're so far into the run now where they haven't established that. But the thing I found from it. Sorry,
no, go for it.
These didn't seem like bad guys here. If anything, this was the most likable they seemed, and these are meant to be your big heel group. But they're like, hey, man, you can take the title. Oh, really? Me?
Thanks.
Oh, gee, thanks. Just seemed a little too babyface here, I thought.
Where wouldn't heels be like, hey, we all should be recognized as champions and like wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. I liked where they go with it right in here when Oba walks in, because this is a great little callback.
Yeah. So Oba Femi then walks in, and they're making fun of him. Oh, the ruler has arrived. And Oba says, Dion, you made it to the Iron Survivor. And Dion says, yeah, last time you saw me back here and we were face to face like this, you blew me off. Well, look at me now. John Cena thinks I'm good enough. And Oba says, well, I hope you win so I can knock... Dion says to Oba, I hope you win so I can knock the teeth down your throat.
Yes.
Says, you better watch tonight, bruh.
I like this. This is a callback. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole thing with the Dion Lennox DarkState storyline, if there is any legs or strings to this, like it all started with this nerdy bookworm Dion Lennox trying to get somewhere, and Oba just kind of big leaguing
Snubbing him.
Yeah. So it does kind of circle back here where this whole thing made DarkState look like babyface. This is really bizarre. Hey,
you wanted Dion to kick Oba's ass.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's kind of weird. This was kind of backwards for me, because first he's giving the other guy the title, and next he's like, yo, Oba, I'm coming for you still. So anyways, maybe a DarkState babyface run is better than the
maybe it'll be better than what they've been doing.
Yeah.
So yeah. We then go to Chase U taking on OTM. Chase U jump them at the start of the match. We get tandem suicide dives. Uriah Connors delivers a pretty nice looking swanton for a 2. And then Kale Dixon runs right into a super kick from Lucian Price. Bronco Nima comes in and drops Dixon across the knee of Price. There's quick tags from OTM. Price goes for his one-handed spine buster, but this gets countered into a code breaker from Dixon. And then Connors makes the tag, runs in with a Gamangiri in the corner, and then a DDT to Bronco for a 2 count. We get stereo super kicks from Chase U to Lucian Price. And then, obviously, an homage to John Cena here, because Uriah Connors hits the springboard stunner.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The worst John Cena move of all time. Yeah.
I don't know. That weird punch he did might be worse.
Which one? The John Cena, the Jackie
Chan one? Yeah, it was pretty bad. They then go for crossbodies on the outside, but get caught by OTM, who ram them into each other, and then hit a pretty awful looking double Alabama slam for the win.
Oh, that was awful. You know, I love my Bob Holly and my Alabama slams. This was not even an Alabama slam. No. This was what's a worse state than Alabama? I thought this match was good for the first half of it. Like, this is a short match, but it kind of fell apart towards the end of it, I thought, with OTM here not really hitting their moves full stop. I think every time we watch these two, we always say they're like Hank and Tank, the dorky guys that are like babyface kind of comedy, but when they wrestle, they're actually like always surprise us.
This was the most we've seen from them. This was the most
we say this every time they wrestle. We're always like, oh, they're pretty good, and then they job. Like, that's just the only thing these guys have been doing. And the story here is OTM just came back, and they're the ones who are getting the push, when I completely think it should be the other way around. Whereas, like, they looked kind of sloppy in this match, and it was the other two that made them look better. But yeah,
I mean, I think we'll see with them what we've seen from Hank and Tank, the old iteration of Chase U, where these guys just keep on losing and then eventually win the tag titles in a huge babyface moment. But
hopefully,
I do not see anything in OTM. Anything. Like, I've given these guys long enough now. They've been in NXT a couple of years, and like, Lucian Price is okay. Bronco Nima sucks. Like, that finish looked awful, and like they're getting behind them again, and I just don't see why. These guys are not exciting to me in the slightest. Their promos are dull when I can even understand what they're saying, and I think they even look worse here than we've seen them before.
I thought the first few minutes was the Chase U guys doing some cool flashy stuff, and then when it came time for the bad guy beatdown, it looked real messy, and I thought they kind of looked
it didn't look impactful at all. Any of their moves.
No, It looked like they've regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
I know this is one short little match, but yeah, not the wrestling on this show was not hitting for me whatsoever. It felt something was just off.
Yeah.
But this wasn't it. But again, I got to shout. I feel like every time we watch Uriah Connors and Cale Dixon with the ridiculous wrestling names, but like they're pretty good and they keep getting they're the job guys here. But maybe they should stop driving Teslas and become real winners.
We see Ethan Page, who's leaving the building. He's like, oh, well, didn't get booked on today's show, so might as well go home. Where Ava runs up to him, and Ethan congratulates Ava on putting on a great show and says, Deadline looks great, and thanks for giving me the night off. It's much deserved, as I am the hardest working champion in WWE. And Ava goes, well, you say that, but you haven't actually defended your North American title since Halloween Havoc. And he's like, yeah, because no one here wants to face me. When Mr. Iguana appears from behind and we get this match set up for Deadline. And Mr. Iguana steals his car. And Ava reminds him, what, are you going to call the cops? Say a reptile stole your car? Come on, man.
I think this is a good addition for Saturday. I was thinking like, okay, they've added Izzy and Tatum. That's 4 matches, right? So now it's 5 matches, and the Iron Survivors are about 30 minutes plus with entrances and stuff. So full card now. Adding this, I think, is a great addition. I liked how he was like, oh, I guess my services are not welcome, so I'm just dipping. I'm just leaving this show, which is pretty valid, to be fair. If you're a champion, you're not even booked. Like, why would you? But he also referred to John Cena. He's like, well, thanks to the Invisible Man, I'm not in the Iron Survivor, and tries to leave. And then, yeah, Mr. Iguana steals his car. So I think this should be a fun match on Saturday.
I'd like something a bit better for Ethan Page. I mean,
I don't even think he was going to be booked. So,
well, yeah, just I don't know. I'm kind of already over the Mr. Iguana thing. It was funny when we saw it on AAA, but
yeah,
I don't need to see Ethan Page selling for this puppet for 20 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. Like WWE, when something is popular and cool and funny, when they do it, they run it into the ground very quickly. And like now we've seen that with the Joe Hendry, and now with this. But yeah, I'm on the same page. Like I love Mr. Iguana. It's just now you've done the joke. This is the same. It's like the same every time. Okay, all right, cool. It's the same with Joe Hendry. It's
give
like,
him his Rumble spot, and then we can move on from it. I think
Yeah. I think it'll be fun, sure, but just he could. Yeah, what else could this guy be doing right now on? There's the men's division on NXT is kind of scarce.
I don't. Yeah. Oh, sorry for Ethan Page.
Yeah, and like everyone else is in the Iron Survivor, so
yeah, true.
Ava at least did make me laugh with a reptile stole your car, but
yes. We then have the download with Shiloh Hill, and this is becoming my favorite segment of the week. I think Shiloh says that for Thanksgiving, he tried raccoon for the first time. And he was like, man, it's pretty greasy. But it reminded me of this one Thanksgiving, and the fog was settling in, the snow was coming down. So we all got on our snowmobile, and I had recently just updated mine, and I'm going 100 miles per hour into the woods, and I'm way ahead of everyone when I crashed. And I had no phone with me, and I thought I was going to freeze to death. That's when I went into survival mode, and I broke up these branches and got twigs and leaves, and I got whatever I could to keep myself insulated. And they tell you not to fall asleep when you're in these kind of situations. Well, I became one with the earth, and it's the first time in my life where I felt alive, especially when I heard the wolves coming. Oh! And, imagine if I got eaten by wolves. I wouldn't have been able to go on LFG, and The Undertaker wouldn't have been my coach. The Undertaker was a hard coach. He would tell me to reach into their chest and rip out their souls. When I feel that itch crawling up my skin, I let it out. He just screams, wake up! He goes, oh, I can feel those endorphins running through my body. Anyway, I should finish this up. I got to find my bleach.
This is your favorite every week?
Oh, I love it. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't. I'm the opposite. I don't. This gives me throwbacks of like those vignettes you get for characters that you just instantly know, like, this isn't gonna work from day one. You know, when I first saw Vito wear a dress, when I first saw who we were talking about, the Schism earlier, when we saw Duke Hudson playing poker, we just, you know, right away, like, that can't be what a character on this TV show is going to be doing going forward. And I think that when I see this guy, but I can't tell if his character this time around, I know the last two, when he talks like me when I have ADHD sometimes. It's like, hey, I worked for The Undertaker. You know who loves The Undertaker? And then like everything he says connects to like something else that he doesn't really connect with what he was saying. So he was doing a whole lot of that. But I don't know. I feel like I've moved on from this in my wrestling. That's the only problem. Like, I know it's NXT, so I guess you can get away with it because this is where you were first being introduced to these people. But it's kind of like funny tongue in cheek, but like you said about the iguana, like this thing is already okay. This guy's trying so purposely to be so weird and talking about being in the woods and then the Undertaker and then the bleach. I'm like, all right, I'm already checked out of this character. So
I mean, at the end of the day, we got to see how it translates to the ring, and we've not seen this guy wrestle yet. I just say, yeah, it's weird, but I'm remembering this. Like, I think at least there is, I don't know, I'm getting some charisma coming through from him. I think there are things about him. Yeah, the content might not be for everyone, but I'm seeing, honestly, way more in these 3 videos we've had for Shiloh Hill than I've seen in anything Jasper Troy's done in NXT. And I see this guy as capable of being able to perform. Like, and we'll see how it translates. How does this character then move to the ring? We've got to get out of this computer room at some point, and where do we go from there? But
computer room,
I don't know. I've kind of enjoyed.
It's weird, and that's
so
definitely
far
what they're aiming for. But yeah, like you said, we got to see how it works. This is a wrestling show, so, well, sort of is, I guess. Where does that fit in with whatever it is that he's doing? But I think this is the weakest of the three that we've had so far. But it's just like this guy in a computer room. I'm just like, I don't know. It's you complained earlier about like lack of creative, of like, just this weird guy who likes the dark web is just not something I want to watch.
Corey Graves then just asks if he's on any watch lists.
Yeah,
to know about.
Yeah, so like that's the problem they had with what's the Schism dude's name? What was his name? We love
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy. That was the problem. They were doing the tongue-in-cheek woke shit, and then they were scared as soon as someone called them out for doing that, right? Remember?
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have someone say that joke that Corey Graves just said, like, oh, is this guy a school shooter or something? Character's done, instantly shelved. So, like, yeah, fly so close to the sun with these weird incel gimmick that they're trying. But, like, if you invited a bunch of your friends and family who don't know much about wrestling, do you think this would be the one segment on the show? If they were to watch this whole episode of NXT with you, would this be the one segment where they're like, yo, what the fuck what is this?
I think they'd think that about
most of it,
5% of wrestling, full stop. Like, majority of it is fucking awful.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm just thinking this one specifically, someone would be like, yo, what is that guy's character like?
I could see them being more interested in this guy than
Jasper
Troy.
Joe
Hendry, even, yeah. You know, like, it's just,
yeah. I feel like Joe Hendry doesn't connect when you don't know, like, if he was a meme, like the meme wrestler of the last 2 years or whatever. Like, he's just some guy. I don't think it's translating well at all.
No, actually. Me neither.
So, yeah, anyways.
We move on to our next match. Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, and Myles Borne taking on DarkState. And the gimmick here is whoever picks up the pin will get the advantage in Iron Survivor. And we see Osiris, who picks up Saquon to slam on top of Myles, but Myles gets the knees up. Hendry then comes in with a hip toss and neck breaker for a 2. Slater and Evans start to double team Cutler James. And then Dion Lennox comes in with a huge spine buster. All breaks down as all 8 men are brawling. And we come back. We go to the break as DarkState are in control. We come back and DarkState are isolating Joe Hendry, preventing him from making the tag. There's then a guillotine from Lennox to Hendry. However, Hendry powers up and counters it into a big vertical suplex before making the tag to Leon Slater, who comes in with drop kicks all round, goes for a handspring double cutter, but gets caught in a double powerbomb from DarkState. They then go to set up for the toss shield bomb, but Slater counters this with a drop kick, makes the tag to Javon, and then there's a huge tope suicida from Evans taking Sugars out over the announce table. Both Vic and Corey had to quickly get out of the way of this one. Evans then goes back into the ring and hits an Undertaker dive to the other side, goes for a springboard cutter, but gets caught by Osiris, comes back with another cutter, and then his triple jump top rope cutter, but DarkState break up the pin. Joe Hendry comes in and hits a fallaway slam to Cutler, throwing him into Saquon. And then we get Leon Slater with the Swanton 450 to Osiris. However, Myles Borne blind tagged himself in and hits the Born Again, or the zigzag, to Osiris for the win. So Myles Borne gets the advantage, and you can see both Slater and Javon Evans looking pissed that they felt they did all the work and Myles kind of stole the win here.
Yeah, kind of a heel move from Myles. I noticed during the match, purposely, he was trying to tag in, but like it was just too chaotic. And then by the time Javon and Leon were doing all sorts of crazy stuff, he makes the tag right before Leon does the 450 swan dive. And then before he hits the zigzag, he looks at him like, hey, thanks, guys, and then hits the move. And then they almost go to like break it up. And then they're like, oh, man. And then he's like, oh, we did it. And they're like, you mean we did it? Like, we did this. So I guess adding some tension to Saturday's Iron Survivor. So what does this mean? He gets to select his position. So it's, you know, you get the advantage if you're last one in, but then you won't be able to rack up as many pins. So he gets to pick. What would you pick if you were in this? Kayfabe.
I'd pick like number 3.
Yeah, in the middle.
Number 3 or 4. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be right at the end, but I wouldn't want to do the full 25 minutes. So yeah,
I'd say that too. But you know what? There was some cool stuff in this match. Nothing to necessarily be like, whoa, this is crazy. But the one spot was that power bomb spot you said, where they go for the high spirits shield bomb, as I call it. And Leon counters it with this like double drop kick to both guys. Like, what the hell? That guy is so impressive. He comes up with some crazy stuff. Loving Leon being involved on NXT and this Iron Survivor match. You know, this match should be pretty good on Saturday too, but this was not necessarily the best wrestling, but probably my favorite wrestling on this show, because I didn't feel this show had a lot of that, but at least we got a little taster of what's to come with this Iron Survivor match. And Leon looked like he was bleeding a little bit too from this.
Yeah, I think I preferred the women's match over this, but there was some fun stuff, but it didn't get to the level I thought it could, considering some of the people involved.
Yeah, I agree.
We then end with a very quick, maybe the quickest contract signing in NXT history, where we're just in a dark room, Ava's office, and Oba says the man he faced at No Mercy was a man burdened by a long title reign. But this man will show you that you are just a footnote in my legacy. And one question, and then Ricky says, one question that goes through my head is what happens if I don't beat you? Well, we'll never know, because you may be able to beat everyone, but you can't beat me. And then Ava says, for the first time in NXT PLE history, the men's match will open the show.
Interesting.
And NXT goes off the air.
Well, you Did you see what I saw? I mean, this segment was so short that you probably didn't see a whole lot. This segment looked like it started at like
it was 9:58. Yeah.
Like I was sweating because they usually cut it off, right, with our cable viewers. But did you notice the TV behind Ava?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, the TV behind Ava while they were talking, it turned from like the Deadline logo to this video of a bridge.
What?
Like the Brooklyn Bridge or like I don't know what bridge. But all that comes to mind between that and the box with the what I thought looked like a torn up hat. Tony D'Angelo.
Okay.
Right? He disappeared. He loves putting people in off the bridges, and that's where the Heritage Cup is, right?
Yeah.
Off the bridge. I don't understand why, or even if, but I was like, hey, why is it just randomly showing this bridge on this screen? And then it cuts back to the logo, like kind of like suspiciously, and then I'm thinking that plus the box that was sent to her office, like maybe this has something to do with Tony D'Angelo.
Could you see maybe like say Myles Borne selects to be the last entrant in the Iron Survivor? Could you see him getting taken out earlier in the night and Tony D potentially be the 5th entrant and winning the thing?
Okay, I don't necessarily hate that. I don't love it. I know they've been trying to do this stuff with Myles, and I think with whatever it is they set up today kind of set him back a little bit with that like weird, not necessarily a baby face characteristic with that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if this means like the fact that Ricky and Oba are starting the show means something is happening that sets the tone for the rest of it, that maybe obviously one of those Iron Survivor matches closes the show, but a heel turn definitely makes sense. I'm not necessarily thinking Tony D'Angelo is coming back, but the hat in the box ripped up and this bridge shot would make me think that he is showing up sooner rather than
Tony later. Also has history with Oba. He's the only other person to beat him, right?
Yeah.
Although I would think if you are doing a Ricky heel turn, isn't that something you'd close the show on? So it's interesting doing it at the beginning. But...
Or he does it and then like he drives off, like he fucks off and he leaves. But yeah, I don't know. But it was interesting that they like the contract signing was two minutes, if that, and it had this little like thing. And like this episode of NXT wasn't necessarily my favorite go home edition. No. I think they have a hard time every time you tell us the matches and stuff. And I think as far as NXT PLEs in the year 2025, I can't say my excitement level or the delivery on some of these shows have been high. I don't think there's not necessarily been a great year for NXT PLEs specifically. Out of all of them, I'd say the Iron Survivor in the last few years has instantly made people be like, oh, you know what? Actually, this match is a pretty good match type. And therefore, it's a bit of a calling card for NXT. That instantly I'm like, I know that those two matches alone will be worth your time watching this show.
That's how I feel. I mean, we're getting the rerun of Oba and Ricky, which I didn't love the first time, but I think there's at least intrigue that there could be shenanigans that happen and a heel turn or something. But yeah, it's this show. It's being sold on the 2 Iron Survivor matches, which I think with the talent involved, both should be excellent. And I've enjoyed every single iteration of this match they've done. So I think that's enough that for me, it will probably make this a pretty entertaining PLE.
Like those two matches alone, it'll be good. I just think that it wasn't the best way to make me like they had the one vignette we went over with the rules and the Iron Survivor stuff, but I don't think they hit over the head that like, hey, the wrestling on this show on Saturday is going to be really good. Instead, I got I got a weak episode of NXT. I thought.
Yeah, it was pretty weak.
Yeah.
Shall we go through the card and see what our predictions are?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, those two Iron Survivor matches definitely have my attention. The first one being the women's Iron Survivor, Sol Ruca versus Lola Vice versus Kalani Jordan versus Jordan Grace versus Kendal Gray. Winner gets a shot at NY Evil.
I'm gonna stick with Jordynne Grace. Kalani doesn't make sense being a heel. I don't think a heel versus heel works really. Sol Ruca, I think, is the only other one that I could see winning, but with the story with Zarya, I feel we're having that break at Deadline. You could do Kendal Gray and have like a champion v champion kind of thing, but I'd say just Jordynne Grace and give her the title at this point.
Like, I think it should be Sol Ruca just because I think she's finally at that level where she could be the ace of the women's division here in NXT. But she is tangled with this story. Like, Zarya had a spear with her name on it, and it didn't hit, which means it has to hit on Saturday. So, like, I think it's going to be between Sol and Jordynne Grace, but I'd be happy with either. But Jordynne Grace beating JC Jane at New Year's Evil, and then go back into the feud with Kalani Jordan makes the most sense.
Both work, right? Because you could do Kalani and Jordynne Grace for the title, or you could do Sol and Zarya for the title.
Yeah. So would like to see either of those two win, but I do think, like, I want Sol to win, but I do think it's going to be Jordynne Grace, which I think I want her to win too. I think she's kind of had a rocky start since coming into NXT, which, like, as soon as she finally gets in the right groove, I think she'll definitely become a powerhouse here. I mean, she is a powerhouse, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I
think once that finally clicks, Jordynne Grace should definitely be kicking some ass in NXT. So I think the women's match is going to steal the show.
I think this headlines, right?
This should be the last match. Yeah.
And I think that's where you end with the Zarya Sol angle.
Got you. Yeah. Okay. We'll have to see what happens in that match. Well, you say Jordynne Grace, I'm saying Grace or Sol Ruca. We also have the new singles match, Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame with the culling, a grudge match, if you will. What happens here?
I feel you could have Izzy win this one. I don't think this is a one and done thing. And I think Izzy really is leveled up tonight, and Tatum can get a win back further down the line. But I think you should continue. You know, you can have some culling shenanigans to help Izzy win, but I feel you should go with Izzy here.
I feel the same way. Like, Tatum just won the title and then just lost the title, but it would help Izzy. And I do think we're going to have a few series of matches, perhaps a rematch gimmick match at New Year's Evil next month. But yeah, I'm going to say
weaponized
Izzy.
cage or something, right?
Yeah. Dollhouse match.
Yeah.
Whatever. We also have Ethan Page versus Mr. Iguana for the North American title.
Like, why is this on the show? Ethan Page, not much discussion, I don't think.
Ethan Page as well. Yes. Hopefully he got his car back. Was that a Tesla? I'm not sure. Ricky Saints versus Oba Femi. Does Tony D'Angelo get involved? Does Ricky Saints turn heel? I think that's more of the prediction here. I don't see Ricky losing the title back to Oba. I just see him doing it in a sleazy way to retain.
Yeah, I agree. Ricky Saints.
Yeah, Ricky Saints. The Saints come marching home.
Oba in the Rumble.
Yeah, book it.
Big monster spot in the Rumble.
Absolutely. And then the men's Iron Survivor winner gets a shot at New Year's Evil. Javon Evans, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, Leon Slater, and Myles Borne.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more open, I think. Although with the Ricky tease and with Javon, I think that's probably the direction we go. I don't see any of those other guys being viable champions. I just feel maybe you might just do a random title defense and build Javon up for Stand and Deliver. So
like, that's what I mean. Yeah,
just have any of these guys win it, really.
If you don't put Javon here, like, Javon is the guy who needs to win it WrestleMania weekend, right? Like, and if you book him to do it here, then it kind of could fuck up the rest of the year. So I'm not quite sure. Like, if you do Joe Hendry winning this, he could go up against a Ricky Saints and lose.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know, Javon winning is a big thing because it's like, oh, I won the Iron Survivor, this and that. But I don't see him winning the title thus far. But the little
Leon,
yeah, that like out of the box kind of pick there. He already has a title, but you know, that's all right. Double champs are in right now, so
especially as a way to maybe promote the new launch of TNA, like having Leon Slater go up for it.
I'd say Javon Evans is probably my pick, or Joe Hendry, but I'm going to go with Javon for this one for Iron Survivor. I don't necessarily think he's going to win the title at New Year's Evil, but at least get it into people's heads that Ricky and Javon could be this big feud, juicy feud that we've needed in NXT really, really badly. So
yeah, Omos can stop Javon from.
Oh, right. Yes.
Evil,
Explain
right?
what's your prediction again?
Omos is going to come and be Ricky's heater.
You know, it's silly, but Oba did say that after losing the title, he went back to Nigeria, and maybe that's where Omos is like, "Yo, fuck you, buddy. Like, you're not the ruler. I'm taller than you."
He is.
So, yeah, I'll lose my mind if Oba. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, we're clipping that from last week's show. If I'm right there, we're putting that everywhere.
Hopefully it happens. I just want Ricky to be. You want Ricky to be Sean and Omos to be Diesel. Is what I want. And it's not the worst thing.
I'm just like, what are you doing with this?
This
guy?
is better than half the shit I just watched on this show.
For another 5 years. Like, what are you doing with it?
What's Shiloh Hill gonna do? Is he gonna be involved with Omos?
Maybe he was on the bridge.
Right. Yes. There's so much to unpack here. There's literally unpacking with these boxes and then the bridge. What is going to happen this Saturday at NXT Deadline? You know what? I'm looking forward. The Iron Survivors are going to be fun. The title match, hopefully, is it a step up from the last time that those two locked up as well. So actually have some hype for this PLE this weekend. We will be live the following day, Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We won't be live Saturday, but we will be talking all about Deadline right here on Post Wrestling YouTube, and audio to be up on this feed right after. So 2 p.m. Sunday, catch us here. We'll talk all about Deadline and everything else in the world of wrestling. But there you go. Maybe you'll be checking out Deadline this weekend. Catch us Sunday. Check out all the other shows that we got going on. We'll talk about the Continental Classic, Dynamite tomorrow, Collision, and whatever else happens this week in the world of wrestling. Always news going around and always things happening. And appreciate everyone out there, postwrestling.com, for all the news and updates, the whole Post Wrestling team keeping busy. And hopefully you enjoy the work that we put out here today.
Absolutely.
But thank you for hanging out with us.
And rest in peace, Larry.
Oh, man. Rest in peace, Larry the dog. Yeah, pour one out for Larry. We love you, Larry. Yeah. One of the only dogs, like wrestling dogs, is such an untapped market of merch.
Yeah.
You got Pharaoh and you got Larry, but rest in peace, Larry. For real. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. Check out all the other shows that we got going on and search Poisonrana in your podcast feed or YouTube. Appreciate you. And we will chat Sunday for the Deadline. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye and be safe.
Ahoy!